saw it, a pot of hair still smoldering, and her eyes, glowing with a pale fire, not reflected, but lit from inside. That's when I realized I wasn't in a healer's hut. I was in the presence of a Mangkukulam, a real one. And I had walked in on my own. But let me start at the beginning. I hadn't slept in weeks. No matter what I tried, herbal teas, salt baths, swimming in the ocean, even smoking, I couldn't rest. Not really. My appetite vanished. I felt both anxious and completely numb. Something was wrong, deep inside, like my body was a borrowed shell. So I did what people in my grandmother's province sometimes do when hospitals fail. I sought out something older. Her name came to me in whispers, Aling Amparo, the kind of name said only when joking about curses or revenge. I bought a ferry ticket, 1 hour across dark waters to the island of Siquijor, the place only people whisper about. The winds were relentless, the waves were violent. It seemed even the island didn't want me going. The tricycle driver dropped me off at a small store. A few locals sat outside. When I asked for Aling Amparo, they laughed like I was drunk. Go to an albulario, one said, half serious. Not her. If her curse takes hold, even prayer can't help. But I had already come this far. A boy tapped me on the shoulder and pointed past a santal tree. My Lola used to say when they live near trees like that, never disturb them, make them offerings. But I had nothing to offer. I came here for one reason, and one reason only. The hut looked like it grew out of the earth. At the door hung garlic and red chilies. Protection or warning, I wasn't sure. The air smelled of burnt feathers, thick and clinging. Before I could knock, the door creaked open. No one was there. Inside, the light was dim, like the room didn't want to be seen. In the center, a clay pot. I peered in. Bundles of hair. Human. I turned and heard her. A voice like rustling leaves turned to words.
Nadugo sa hininga sa anino, awak na kita.
In your blood, your breath, your shadow, you are mine. She stood in the doorway, her eyes pale and alive. In her hand, a bundle of twigs, bound in red thread. Mangkukulam, I whispered. She smiled like a crack, forming in a porcelain doll. Alam mo na. So you know, she snapped the bundle. My chest locked, as if ropes wrapped around my ribs, squeezing. I dropped to my knees. Air escaped me like steam from a kettle. She laughed, a dry, brittle sound.
Wala kang anting-anting, wala kang orasyon, akin ka.
No charm, no prayer, you're mine. But somewhere in the panic, my grandmother's voice returned. A whisper in the back of my throat. If kulam takes hold, let your blood speak. Bite your tongue, spit it to the earth. Your spirit fights with your blood. So I did. I bit down. Hard, iron, salt, pain, and I spat. The blood hissed on the floor. She jerked backward, as if struck. Her glow began to fade. Her skin cracked, like clay under dry sun. Another spit. Another whisper of an old prayer. Sa ngalan ng Ama at ng Anak at ng Espiritu Santo, balik sa lupa ang sumpa. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, let the curse return to the earth. She howled, twisted. Her body broke apart, not in fire but in dust, like forgotten paper left too long in the sun. The red thread blackened, the hut filled with silence, except my heartbeat. I gasped, alive but not untouched. I stood trembling and looked again at the pot. The hair remained. The ashes cooled. Then I remembered a coworker weeks ago had returned my hairbrush. She smiled strangely as she handed it back. My hand moved without thinking. I reached into the pot and grabbed the hair. I ran through the field, past the santal tree. The moon barely lit my path. When I got home, the hair was gone, slipped from my hands. Maybe I never held it at all. They say to break the curse, you must burn the hair with blessed coconut oil, salt from an Easter vigil, and a prayer spoken by someone who believes. But I never got that far. Now the nights are worse. I don't dream, I don't sleep, I just listen for rustling. Let this be a warning. There are doors you can't close once opened, and names you shouldn't say out loud, especially on Siquijor.